Hello and greetings, everyone. Welcome back. We're here to talk about this beautiful masterpiece of a deck. If you like big decks, look no further. It's bigger than four modern decks. It's bigger than two EDH decks. It is Battle of Wits. And if you're like, what is that? Why are there so many cards here? Let's start with talking about that. Battle of Wits is a beautiful enchantment. It's been reprinted several times, but it says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have 200 or more cards in your library, you win the game. Well, you have to build a deck that has over 200 cards in its library while still getting to at least 5 mana and getting this into play and hopefully surviving a turn. Um, the number that people land on for that to be consistent is usually around 240. Um, I'm at 242. In some ways, it's like what's adding a few cards, but it getting the ratio of land to cards down is pretty important, and obviously trying to build a deck that is consistent at this many cards is the challenge. So I have been enamored with the challenge of building Battle of Wits. And before you ask, yes, I have played it in paper. I did double sleeve it and bring it to an F&M where I had to buy an 1,000 card box in order to hold it. I did at one point get to take out my deck while facing a mill player, and that was just a fantastic experience. But um, ended up getting to the finals there of F&M that one. I think it was 4-0-1 is what I ended, something like that. It was great. Had a close match against Burn. That was a while back. I haven't played Paper Magic in a while. I have been trying to make this work since Modern Horizons 3 in various iterations. Haven't found one that is successful. I'm hoping this one is. We will see here in a bit. I will talk about the deck list. If you don't want to see me, try to, I will be as brief as possible. But obviously, it's a very large deck list, so I'll talk about my kind of like thoughts and reasons for building it the way I did, as well as some of the specific card choices, and then we'll get into some gameplay. So, first, the mana base. One of the biggest things here is you won't see a lot of utility lands. A lot of iterations I built had lots of like Field of Ruin and a Jonju and Shinka, and I have a couple of Beseju, one Otawara, one Arena, one Shifting Woodland, and that's about it. I've played a couple of Horizon lands. It's mostly fetchables and fetch lands. Couple reasons. One is just like the consistency, having lands that you actually want versus all these lands that only tap for one color or colorless. When playing 5 mana colors is frustrating at times and makes it inconsistent. Also, we have to have a decent number of mountains because we're playing Escape, Shift, Win-Con, and we have to have basically every color but black is pretty important. We really obviously green is our main color. We're playing all the mana dorks. We're playing the 2 mana mana dorks. We have green creatures. We're playing Green Sun Zenith, Quarter Calling. Um, so that's our main. I have a spattering of the flip modal lands here and one generous int. Again, the numbers here might look weird. Why not just like 4 of one of them? But um, sometimes you want a Balagad Recovery more than you want, Disciple as a castable card. Glasspool is a fun one of just to have. We have a couple different ways to fetch it up, but sometimes it's just a blue source. And same with the white cards, having the split there. Um, these especially are untapped sources, which is nice. But the one ent is more for its spell of like 1 mana. Go get whatever colors you need that are a forest. Mode when sometimes you want it as a creature, of course. But that is the mana base. I think it's a total of 90, or is it 89? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is 91 lands is what we landed on. I went up one since I last looked at the numbers. Then I have 24 1-drops. They pretty much all tap for generate mana. Esper Sentinel being the one exception, being a card that can draw us cards. There's a couple more. I know we have a Haywire Might, Quirion Ranger, Hex Drinker are obviously also 1-drops, but I have them in my one of column here, which are essentially, this one of column. Obviously, we are going to draw them sometimes, but most of these we're only going to see if we're grabbing them with a call, a Green Sun, or a Cord, or a Bring. So these are our 1-drops that we kind of want to cast, and we have a lot of 2-drops. Most of them draw cards. Rumble draws, the best one in the top 4, essentially. Wall, and Ice Fang all just draw a card. Coiling Oracle kind of draws a card, but puts it into play if it's a land, which is nice. Wall of Roots is one of the best mana dorks. Sylvan Caryatid is a great mana dork. Having a 0-3 with hexproof is also, decent at stonewalling a Ocelot for a couple turns or something like that. Orcish Bowmasters. I'll do the one-ofs last. Then we have, this column is kind of like my mid-rangey value column. Renegade Rallier a lot of times ends up being a ramp card for us, or draws us extra cards by picking up Oracle or Ice Fang or Wall that got killed. Very good with fetch lands. It's also part of our combo line. So debated putting it in here because this is a Prime Speaker Vanavar combo, Battle of Wits combo, and Scapeshift combo. As well as, I guess you can count Stoneforge as a combo, sort of, but it's not a game-winning combo. So that's the focus of the deck as far as like the win cons. But these are mid-rangey. I think Omnath is like too good not to play when you're playing this many colors. Also very good at. I mean, he draws a card, he can ramp you, and he gains you life. He kind of does everything this deck needs to do to stay alive. Flage is obviously a ridiculously strong card, and by itself can just win games. So why wouldn't I play 4 of? Ren is very good at making sure we get our colors, get our land drops, and can eat some threats. Stoneforge is our mini combo in the deck. We just have the one sword. It's one of the better ones just because it draws cards and removes threats. Pro Red is pretty good in this format right now. In the sideboard, I have the green-black one. I've considered maybe the red-black one or the red-white one. Haven't done a ton of testing. I don't think I've seen Stoneforge once in all my testing, and that's another thing is like, I don't have time to grind hundreds of games, which you would need to really get a feel for the deck. That's part of what makes it so hard to build, but I've been enjoying it. So then, here's just like win cons. I've built it such that with Prime Speaker and any other creature out in the deck, save Ent or Bellower, save my 6 drops. Prime Speaker without Summoning Sickness will be lethal. So even if you just have a creature token out and a Prime Speaker, assuming obviously these cards are still in my deck, it has to have at least a Renegade Rallier and a Resto, and all these have to be in the deck, especially the Mirror Breaker. But with a 1-drop, it's a very clean line where you get Quarter Monitor. I'm just going to briefly go over it. You get Quarter Monitor, you sack that, you Renegade Rallier back the Quarter Monitor, which, by the way, the Quarter Monitor is untapping Prime Speaker. Then you sack the Renegade Rallier to get Resto Angel. Resto Angel trigger on the Quarter Monitor, which triggers the untap on Prime Speaker. And again, remember, you can't Resto the Prime Speaker, because although that will untap it, it would also give it Summoning Sickness again. So it's not, with Kiki Jiki, you can use Resto Angel because it doesn't matter about Summoning Sickness. So you flicker the Quarter Monitor, you untap Prime Speaker, you sack the Resto Angel, you go get Kiki, and then Kiki can make infinite Quarter Monitors. And so Prime Speaker is getting you the Kiki combo. That's the cleanest line. With any other, and obviously you can go from the, a creature token into the Quirion Ranger. This obviously has the stipulation that you need to have a forest in play, but our chances of having a forest in play when we've resolved a Prime Speaker is, 99% or whatever. But another little reason to have mostly fetchable lands, not just other green source lands like, Boseiju is technically a little bit of a risk there. And from Quirion, you can go right into the Quarter Monitor and do the line I previously spoke of. The other line, so if you have a 2-drop out, so we have a Wall of Blossoms, we can sack that to get a Bounding Krasis. The Krasis untaps Prime Speaker. We go from Krasis into the Breaching Hippocamp. The Hippocamp untaps Vanavar. Obviously, all this is assuming that's our only other creature. If you have multiple creatures, the lines get easier. But after Hippocamp, you turn that into the Zealous Conscripts, which untaps and gives haste to Vanavar. Then you can tap to sack the Conscripts to get Woodland Bellower, which is a fun 6-drop which lets you go get another green card with mana value 3 or less. So you go get another Bounding Krasis. You sack the Krasis to get a Resto Angel. The Resto Angel flickers the Bellower. You get that third Bounding Krasis, which untaps Vannifar, and now you can sack the Resto Angel to get a Kiki Jiki. Kiki Jiki can make you infinite Bounding Krasises. So those are the lines with Vannifar. Obviously, Battle of Wits wins if you can just survive a turn with it in play. Then our other win con is Scapeshift. We play, it's down, they're down here near the bottom, but we play 2 Valakut. Here they are. We have, I believe it's something like 17 mountains, so even if you fetched like 7 of them, it's pretty much always live. That's one benefit to playing such a huge deck. So whether we draw Scapeshift or we can also bring to light for Scapeshift, obviously we need 4 colors to be able to go grab the Scapeshift and cast it, but it kind of turns, we have 6 plus 4 plus 4, we have a decent amount of just I win buttons as well as a lot of ways to grind wins out. And so we play some spattering of removal, the most flexible removal in the format, kind of. We have the one Brotherhood's End because of Bring to Light. We can go grab that as a way to wipe a, for instance, energy build. And this would happen where sometimes we have Bring to Light on like turn 3. We have Bird of Paradise and a Wall of Roots or something like that, and it's like we don't have enough lands for Scapeshift to do anything. There's only 3 in play or something like that. We could Bring to Light and get a Vannifar, but we're just gonna die, right? Like, so sometimes we need the Brotherhood's End to kind of breach the gap and get us to where we can hopefully, grind out a win after it resolves. That's a similar reason why there's a Verdict in the sideboard, which would seem weird in such a creature-focused deck, but that is why that's there. So then, Birthing Ritual is our, not really a tutor, but kind of becomes a tutor, and then we have a lot of tutors over here, and then we have all these 1-drops. So I'm not going to talk about each individual one, but there's a mixture of both Green Sun Zenith targets, value targets, like the Prime Time is just a value target that allows you to maybe just win with a fair Valakut line. Different strategy cards, Sun Clancer, Shusher, Meddling Mage for combo decks. Massacre Gill is great against the Boros Energy decks. Anything with like Ogre's Bowmasters. We have Anti-Graveyard. And then we have like Soul Hoarder is just like a great value card where it can flicker something that draws us cards every turn, or it can flicker something that stops the opponent from doing things. Grith being fetchable with Cord and Green Sun Zenith, it just makes it powerful, kind of answer whatever. Something like Sarah Paragon is one of our biggest like value engines once we're like later in games and we have fetch lands and creatures in the graveyard that we can just now reuse until they deal with Paragon. And sometimes it's best to get that because it's just like I at least get to replay a land here and eat a removal spell, whereas Prime Speaker just eats a removal spell or some other card, But powerful things like Drannith Magistrate, having it main deck, like Sanctifier main deck, Meddling Mage and Haywire Might main deck are very helpful, and again can just win games. Sometimes just one Eldamari's Call for Drannith Magistrate can turn off a combo deck, right? Or Collector Oof against a Mox, what's the deck? Grinding Breach. Sideboard are basically mostly cards we're going to bring in as one-ofs and take out one-ofs that are irrelevant. Against a Grinding Breach deck, we'll take out Vexing. We'll actually keep that one in, but we'll take out Sun Cleanser. We'll take out Sanctifier and Vec. We'll take out probably the White Orchid Phantom as well, and we'll put in the Rex Sage, the Scout, and the Oof and the Skoos, and the Fracturing Gust will come in place of like Generous Ent or something like that. We're usually cutting one-ofs for the most part. We're gonna leave all our 4-ofs in the deck, and we'll bring in some 1-ofs that are good. That's essentially our swaps there. I've built it with a Glitterling Wish sideboard, but putting a Bring to Light in the sideboard, maybe putting a Prime Speaker in the sideboard, putting stuff like Teferi and stuff in the sideboard that we can grab. But Glittering Wish is pretty slow, so I felt like it better just to put like, well, these are one-ofs where it's like I don't want to play 15 more one-ofs in the deck. I already have plenty, and so is there. So I do have a deck list. I'll be looking at it as we play. Here we go. We're joining. One of the big reasons I haven't posted a video in a while is that MTGO was having lots of lag issues, and so as you can imagine, trying to play Battle of Wits while MTGO has lag issues is quite an interesting prospect. So it seems to be good. I will say that the one time I was in testing, I did a scape shift line. It was brutally terrible. I will be looking on Moxfield because you have to scroll down here. I have the deck uploaded. It has this great thing where it shows you all the mana values, and if I click on the 2-drops, it will show me the 2-drops, which becomes really relevant when it's like, well, I can go get 1 2-drop and cast it this turn. Is there one that will, save me or win the game? Right. Well, that's my best option at 3 mana that can win the game. So I'll be looking at this as we go along. 2 fetch lands is generally pretty keepable in this deck. We don't actually have a ramp card, but we'll keep. Again, you have to think a lot in this deck about your mana. Retrospect. I think we're just going to start on Temple Garden for Esper Sentinel. Get that out on turn 1. We'll see what our opponent's doing before we determine what we're going to fetch and do turn 2. But it'll probably just be a tri-land, but we might rush out Stoneforge depending on what we're against and what we draw as well. But yeah, Temple Garden is probably fine here. I did make a note. Let me look at my sheet of what my quote-unquote favorite combo should be of fetch land, tri-land, because I was doing a bunch of math. Our best one is Temple Garden and Xander, and that's because it can cast most of our 2-drops. So remember, we have 2-drops that are blue-green, so we don't want Breeding Pool on our green source, right? We have things that are red-green, like Ren and 6, so we want our red and green separate. And so our best is Temple Ground and Xander, our second best is Stomping Ground Rafine, and our third best is Breeding Pool Savai. And we usually want to get all 5 with 2 fetches. So we're against a mill deck. Look at that. Sorry. It will be pretty difficult for us to lose this one. So we will just try to win as fast as possible. We'll just try to get a Stoneforge Cauldra going, I guess. I'm trying to think if it's better to get the... So I'm going to go with a Shockland here, I think I'll go Steam Vents. It gives me 4 of the types. The only thing I'm a little nervous about is this is green-white. These are double green, so should I just go green-blue here? Most of our stuff we can cast off this. I think this will be fine. Really funny to queue into mill deck as our first matchup. Surprised to see no archive traps. We would get to draw off of one of them. Does this get haste? I forget. Yeah. So next turn we get to start swinging in for 5. Decent clock. Hopefully we draw another land, but we'll see. They'll start milling us. So this would be like if you faced a burn deck, but you got to start at 80 life, 82 life. It is possible to lose. I mean, a couple good Tasha City. I mean, our curve isn't too high. We have lots of 1s, or mostly 2s and 3s, and a decent amount of 1s. They have the triple crab start. It will likely mess up, something like our Vanifire lines. Like we'll likely mill something like a Flage. I'm nowhere near being able to cast him. Kiki or something like that. That will make it impossible to actually win that way. I guess there's no reason not to just play this Quirion Ranger out, because we're just going to be attacking with everything we got. He might chump, but I assume he's just going to block the Esper Sentinel and take 5. Yeah. He will. One thing is, like, Battle of Wits itself isn't good against this, right? Because, like, he's often going to get us down below 200. And so we can't actually win with this card against this deck, which is notable. I'll probably sideboard out my Battle of Wits, oddly enough. I mean, this is a very efficient, if this is a fetch land especially, like, our opponent is milling a lot. But just keep in mind, like, until we get down to 60, it's not even a normal deck yet. Like, he's not even there where he normally has to. This is the line that could actually mill 240 cards if they're just casting, like, glimpses. Like, 4 glimpses isn't enough to even put a dent in it. So it's like they need this ongoing continual mill is really their only hope. Let's just go to second main. I think we're going to second man the knight and put counters on it, because it becomes a threat. But yeah, we'll bring in Panglacial. I don't think we really want the sword. Bring in Skylasher, Skoos, probably just Elish. You know, like, we'll just kind of bring in every threat. Take out our Battle of Wits, and maybe I'm trying to think of what else is useless. I guess Oof is useless. I don't think they play any what's it called? Any artifacts. Sorry, I'm trying to play pretty efficiently and not waste our opponent's time, as well as talk about all the different outs and already talking about sideboarding. But you did it. You made me mill 4 more cards. They could have a Crypt Incursion, which would obviously gain them a lot of life, because we are a mostly creature deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, Hideous Laughter is going to exile what? We'll say 10? Probably 10 cards. 13, yeah? Not bad. We've lost a Krasis, Finale, Call, Binding, Hierarch. I don't think we lost the Conscript, so we can't use that in our line, but we haven't actually lost our line yet. We're getting to the point where they're probably going to have to start chump blocking, which is good for us. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 lands now. Scapeshift isn't there yet. I'm trying to think if there's any reason not to just play this way. Interesting draws to have drawn a couple basics. I mean, obviously we play like 20, so it's going to happen a fair amount of time that we draw basics. But to have drawn one of our Temple Gardens after fetching one, and drawn basics specifically, is interesting. I guess our opponent's getting to see a decent amount of our deck, might be what they're trying to see. We still have 126 cards before we're down to a normal deck size. Sweet, they're losing a crab here. And going to 4. Again, a Crypt Incursion will gain them, like, I forget, is it 2 or 3 life? 6. At 6, we can get 5 Mountains in Valakut. I don't think that's enough. I have to remember my Valakut math. Yeah, okay. If you control at least 5 others, so it has to be 7 lands. So yeah, I think we're actually taking out the good old Battle of Wits. And like something like Sanctifier and Vec does nothing. This one's the best I have it here. 6 is great. This stops their free ones. Line slash can get big, right? By exiling my permanents. Grand Abolisher is great. This is a great threat. Scooz gets big. Worm. I don't know. Keep all those. We'll cut the Sun Cleanser. Ooh. We'll cut the Sanctifier. Again, it's kind of interesting. This is our first match. It's fun to get to show you essentially an unlosable match at first, but our deck was pretty efficient that game. You know, we weren't doing nothing and just happened to win because our deck can't lose this matchup. We, you know, made a Cauldra pretty as fast as any other Stoneforge deck could with an Esper Sentinel out. Well, this hand's really good at making land drops. I don't know that that's enough. I guess Ren is eventually its own threat. Again, it doesn't really feel like it matters a whole lot in this matchup, unfortunately. We'll keep this one. Although I don't have a white source, so maybe I shouldn't have kept so fast. I guess I have Ren, but we'll tuck the Scape Shift. I can still technically cast Solitude, and I can turn to a Ren with nothing to target. Hopefully I get a fetch land, and then this hand can actually do things. That's not the fetch land we ordered. It's not a white source either. It's like one of the few. I do have snow covered, by the way, because I think you saw the Ice Fang Codals in there. So the upside of sometimes it having Death Touch or setting it up to have Death Touch when we want it to is a good upside of playing snow versus just normal basics. Certainly not required. If this gets countered, that's fine. It's not actually doing anything yet. Hopefully we draw. If we can draw a fetch, then we can like drop Sage and, you know, have another land drop for Omnath, which would be nice. Going forward, no crabs is nice for us. What does Jace do? Mill 3, draw a card, sometimes draw 3 cards, or mill 3 times X cards. Can mill 15 at full. So he's got to mill some and draw? No, he's going up. He wants to make it mill minus X. Might just minus Ren on this to keep it down, honestly. Fetch land? You're not a fetch land. You're not even close to fetch land. At least you're a white source, I suppose. That's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, I think we're just flaging and then minusing Ren on this. We essentially get to free roll, kill it. Look at our Ren doing stuff, even without a graveyard. Come on, mill me. Mill some lands into my graveyard so I can use my Ren. Our mill deck friend has left us above 200 cards. That's their play. They made us take out our Battle of Wits and then post sideboard they don't even use mill. If we play this, can we cast? Do we have exactly the colors for Omnath? Blue, white, green, red. Yeah. We'll try to resolve this. I assume it gets countered. Is that what he's holding? Counter magic? Maybe he's holding a bunch of archive traps waiting for us to play one fetch land. Like, man, why isn't this guy playing fetches? It might have been better to go for Stoneforge there. On average, but I like that Omnath at least draws a card when he comes into play. Stoneforge kind of draws a card as well. I'd normally just go get this in this kind of board state, but I guess I could just pick up the sword. Yeah, he's dying. I assumed as much. Bold strategy cotton. Let's see if it plays off. Okay, well, we are sitting here against the mill opponent who hasn't milled us with our running 6 that has no targets. Loving life. I think we're going to start off 2-0 in this league. Hey, a Krabby Crab. At this point, I'm one white source away from just hard casting this. Yes, please mill me a land. Por favor. That's not the land I want. I didn't specify. I meant a fetch land. Can we do that again where you mill the... come on, deck. Why are you like this, deck? I'm going to cycle this first, see if we can hit a fetch land. Nope, just another non-fetchable land. Okay. We'll pick up... I think either of these are red and white sources. Red and green. We'll take the red white source. I could just play this and Stoneforge, or play this. This would be a second red, but I need second white. Because I obviously want to get this Flage out. So I'm going to play what will be a second white source next turn. Or I guess I could Solitude too. But yeah, we want to try to get Flage out. So I already have second red source. I'll have 2 white. So I'll be able to escape him, right? He just needs 5 other cards. Oh, I technically don't have enough, but... let's hope that our opponent will give us enough cards. Maybe they'll give us a fetch land. Our deck really doesn't want to give us fetch. Forgot to count. How many fetch lands am I playing? Oh, I gotta play the game. I can't do all this at once. Come on, deck. We're really playing it this way? You gonna do me like that? White means we can't do Stoneforge. Do we care about any of these, really? I guess I don't want him to surgical these, so I'll just exile them. I kind of like the Renegade Rallier. That would be one I could pick up. I kind of want to leave the Proving Ground to pick up with Ren. This is the slowest mill deck I've ever seen. It's turn 6. They've milled 6 cards. Imagine if we were a 60 card deck. They'd be doing terrible. At least we didn't Arena Glory this, friends. See, we're not using it like broken. We're just using it like in its fair mode. They're really thinking over there. I wonder if they've looked at my deck size at any point in time. Do they think they're just facing a really weird deck? I guess we kill this. I don't really care, but... okay. MTGO, you told me you solved all your lag issues. What's happening here? Doesn't feel like you solved your lag issues. It's because my deck's too big, isn't it? Racist against big decks. The memory only says 2 gigs, so... you know, what are you gonna do? We can't cast anything else. I guess I'll pick this up. Might as well, as they say, wherever they say that. Well, Flage survives a turn. I mean, he hits like a truck. 9 points of damage next turn. We'll get them down. You know, he's literally a 2-turn clock. It's just redonkulous. Ooh, is this Tasha's? We're gonna exile 13 cards again? Toxic Deluge? For 6. Interesting. Well, now we gotta hope he mills us some more so we can cast this Flage again. We're getting close to Ren all. I didn't even think about that. Were there any targets for that? No. I don't play a lot of instants and sorceries. They're all just... hey, we finally found a fetch land. And he milled one. Do I want to just Flage again? Probably. We don't have enough here, so if I just fetch, I can Flage. I guess I can get me another white source, and I can Flage plus Stoneforge Mystic. Seems good. Oh, where is my hairbrush? Is the best white source, or should I go Sacred Boundary? I have 3 green, I already have 2 red. Oh, Temple Garden. We'll do this first, I suppose. I also could get Line Sash out and start exiling. He's got 3 targets that would make it bigger. So, I mean, now that I'm up to 3 white sources, that's like maybe a legitimate one. They are going to Archive Trap us. Yay. Yay, there's things in the graveyard now. Hooray. Give me my cards better. As long as you didn't mail my targets for Stoneforge Mystic. I forgot about Prang Glacial. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm actually closer to casting that. I could have casted that off a fetch land this turn. Anyway, I'll get the sword here. And then we'll cast the Flage. Because no matter how many cool things we can do, this is the best thing we can be doing this turn. We'll leave the Green Sun, of course. Oh, Elish Norn. We barely knew you. Get rid of the basic. Get rid of 1 fetch, because we have 3 here. Our 1 of Prime Time, sure. Wall of Roots, Wall of Roots. Nice. Figuring it out. Figuring it out. We'll kill another Hedron Crab. We'll plus it on the Swept Heath. And we'll pass. So we're going to have another removal for Flage and Stoneforge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can play and equip the sword on the Stoneforge, so then that would swing for lethal. Hey, they figured it out. Okay. Well, like I said, that was kind of a free match, but I like getting to see like what the deck could do. That second game was obviously a bit slow against a lot of strategies, but there are going to be like control-ish decks, right, trying to have a similar play against us where they just kind of kill our stuff. Ren obviously shines in those matchups. So yeah. The deck numbers should work out. I'm going to have them. As far as I tried playing with a lot more like combos. You can jam a lot of combos in here, but felt like it was better to just focus on a few and then have all the like silver bullets, because basically our like secondary combo is just like get a creature that shuts off some part of your deck. But we're something like 90% to hit our 2 lands by turn 2, 80% to have 2 of them in our hand. And as far as hitting like 4 lands by turn 4, we're still above 60% there. So I think that our like numbers are pretty good on lands and colors. Oh, this hand is dangerous. If our mana dorks live, this can set us up pretty good. If they die, it could be bad. Let's try it out though. Why not? We're against M-Watts 10. We'll make a Noble Hierarch. Thought about playing the Ignoble as well, but I'm not actually often. Other than like Ren, there aren't really that many red drops. In the early game, most of the red cards are just combo cards. It's like Flage, Omnath, and then kind of like one of combo cards. Oh, Ragavan. That's the one. I forgot I added him. Okay, Ugin's Lab. Well, he probably isn't removing this. I guess maybe with a Kozilek's command, but we live to tell the tale. Do we go for Oracle or do we go for Caryatid? We have 3 mana and a bunch of 2-drops. If we happen to hit land here, we could maybe do both, but I think I'll just go for the Caryatid and swing for 1. Opponent is probably like, what's going on? Have they seen our deck size yet? Usually the big deck is intimidating. People say things like, what? I've never seen that. Are you playing Battle Wits? If they know about the card, if they don't know about the card, they just think you're insane. Which is just fun. Oh, good. Turn two Thought Not Seers? Just like the good old days of Eldrazi Winter. Oh, the flashbacks. Well, here's my hand full of creatures that draw cards and a Resto Angel. Which one would you like to take? No matter what you take, I get to draw 2 cards next turn. So I guess you take the Ice Fang or do you take the Resto? Maybe you take Resto. Coiling Oracle is technically the best draw, but it's the least effective against a Thought Not Seer. Whereas a Ice Fang Coatl can actually kill it with one more Snowland. The Wall of Omens doesn't really do anything. Yeah, I figured it was Coatl. We have a halfling who's so delighted. Lead here. Hopes to hit a land. We did not. I guess we'll play this one. They're the exact same card, essentially. Land. Well, it is a land. I didn't specify untapped land. It's also a non-green source, so I'll take it, you know? We've got all our Bant colors going strong here. Resto some decent value on our Coiling Oracle. Is this a blue Eldrazi deck? Oh no! They're likely a Portent of Calamity deck. I'll take this hit. I'll keep my board wide for now. In case we draw Quarter Calling. Interesting. What is this? Oh, Evoke. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Did keep up blue mana. Never fun. I like Portent of Calamity of a card, assuming that's what they're playing. I think that's cool. It's like right on time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's go and look at what 4-drops we could grab. Not a whole lot of crazy. The main thing here is like, do we want to just go get a Prime Speaker and hope it survives a turn? Or Flage, we could Renegade. Soul Herder would generate a lot of value on this board. We could get the Ewit and pick up the Cord. That's like a value play as well, but we could get the White Orchid. Or even Voice of Resurgence, but White Orchid could kill this lab. I think I maybe like White Orchid because we're holding this already. That leaves some mana open. 1, 2. So we could White Orchid plus Wall or Halfling. Maybe we play the Halfling and chip in. They have a Force of Negation and a Subtlety. Well, it didn't matter what we picked. Good to know. I think we'll lead on the Halfling. It just continues to... It does give things uncounterable if we draw a... what's her name? Vanifar? Or even like Renin 6, obviously. Don't have a ton of legendaries. Play the one of Philia. We have our Omnath deck. I guess, yeah. Between Omnath, Prime Speaker, Philia, Ren. It's a decent amount. Grist. Flage. Ragavan. Yeah, it's not a bad amount. 20-ish. We'll take another hit. After this, we probably are going to start chump blocking. Because they do play Null Drifters or whatever. Like, we can't get too low to where we end up having... It doesn't matter that we have a board full of creatures. Obviously, we tapped a bunch down this time. I played it specifically on our turn because I didn't want to run it into counter magic, but I probably should have just assumed they had force. That's a bummer. I assume they take Resto here. It's better than the wall. they both are going to draw us a card, but one makes a 3/4 flyer and the other is just another 0/4 dork. So we finally draw that land. Love to get some stuff with power so I could actually trade with these Thought Knots, but we are not that lucky. Okay. Could swing for 2, but it's going to die. So we're unfortunately chump block top deck territory against 2 Thought Knots and a deck that could make Emrakul's, so not in good shape. Not in good shape. We have, we've drawn a decent amount. We've seen 20 cards. 15, I guess. For the white wall, I guess it's just both walls are the first thing to go. Oracle is technically slightly better than wall to flicker. After that, we're losing mana dorks. Orion. Interesting. Digging for land drops. And or threats. Had threats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 mana for Eldrazi next turn. We drew another Coiling Oracle. No blue mana, although they might have another force plus a blue land for sure. So we kind of like want to just draw one of our good creatures. We don't want to draw a call or a cord. Wow. La-ti-da. Looky what we drew here. It's obviously not amazing on this board. It would have been a lot better on turn 2 or 3. Before we just got Thought Knotted into oblivion, but what are you gonna do? I'll hit this one so they can't. If I hit this one, they could just return the Null Drifter. So we actually, exiled a Null Drifter. We did technically fix their mana a little bit by giving them more green sources, but it is what it is. So I could attack with one of these for 2, or attack with both for 2. So I'll just attack with 1 because of our Exalted trigger, which swings in for 2. Having a flyer is nice. They still have Null Drifter mana next turn. They can't return it and cast it this turn. If they returned it, they'd have to have like another temple or Ugin's Lab. Well, they had another temple, so they might return and cast this Null Drifter. Or maybe they're gonna do a big Portent of Calamity. I definitely can't take 8. I'm going to lose one of my oracles. I could trade all 3 of these for 1. I lose my white orchid, but I'm not winning this battle of just like swinging back and forth. I need to draw more cards, so I'll do this and maybe get blown out. But we gotta play to have like some line to win here. I wonder if I had waited to cord till their upkeep. It didn't. I don't know. I think he had this already. He had double blue. He could have just used the force of negation. Use the force. Use the force, mwats. Reshaper's an interesting one. It's like mid-rangey mono blue Eldrazi. Feeling weird so far. Effective at beating us when we're, not drawing anything. Let's try to be eternally witnessed. I guess we just pick up a white orchid, or do we just try to draw a card here? We white orchid another Ugin's Lab. He can return the Null Drifter. 7. So just cast it next turn. If we get a wall though, all I can do is chomp. This at least could kill a reshaper. Guess I'll get this. Wish the cord didn't get exiled. Assume he's got to return this in response. Yeah. I guess I could have just hit a temple, but still, because it gets him a land, I think he could return. He'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He just need any land. I'll offer the trade here. No, I guess I won't. I'd rather just block with the Knight of the White Orchid. Now that I at least have, I could trade my Ewit and 2 snakes for the Thought Knot and block this. I'm not like just dying on board. What is he? How is he sacking that? What have I missed? I'm fighting an Elder Deeping deck. Did I queue into competitive modern? What is this? I faced Mill and now Elder Deeping. It's been a long time since I faced Elder Deeping. I mean, we are dead to that for sure. Sorry, had a moment there. Forgive my moment. I guess we need our good old Supreme Verdict against this deck. Zorius is fine. Sword is kind of eh. Skylasher can't be countered, but the Pro Blue doesn't really do anything against this deck, and it's only a 2/2. I don't think that's actually worth it against all his big colorless stuff. Definitely want an extra oof is fine. Grand Abolisher is great. These are pretty good. If I can ever get him out there. Doesn't have a lot of removal. The game could go long, so I think we'll bring in these. Bring in all that. Let's see what we need. Do we need hexproof? I don't think they're doing any non-combat damage. I don't think they're targeting us. They're just targeting our spells. Don't need our sun. Oh, dang it. Sun cleanser. Sanctifier. We like Hayward Might. Don't need the Curator. Definitely want Shusher. Meddling Mage is nice. Voice is nice. Just Ice Fang. Sorry, this is not the fastest. Endurance is kind of useless. I don't think they use like even Delirium or anything. I guess a Flash threat is okay, but again, not big enough to trade with Thought Knot. We're not really that interested in it. Brotherhood's End is probably not worth it. We're going to be getting the Supreme Verdict if we get to resolve a Bring to Light, unless it's for just a lethal Scape Shift. And then Skyclave is pretty limited. I mean, yes, it hits Thought Knot, but we got 3 more. Night. I mean, it hits artifacts, but is it worth it? Masquerade Girl is not going to be worth it. I guess she technically hits all the little tokens, but I don't think I'm going to get a chance to play her. Prismatic Endings are probably not worth it. Go like that. Okay. I will get better at sideboarding. It's not something I haven't sideboarded against this deck ever, or Mill for that matter. That's my defense. I like Esper Sentinel as our 1-drop. This one's obviously a better land hand, and Rumble is powerful if that resolves. So this is the only creature that I control, right? Yeah. Might just make a second Sentinel if it survives, honestly. But it's mulliganing. That's maybe they just have bad hands. I don't know. Seems odd against us. There's not like a specific like I need this against them. There's no way they can really know what we're doing. We don't even know what we're doing. It's different every game. That's the beauty of the Battle of Wits. That's not, specifically why I built it the way that it is built is that your worst games, you're at least casting creatures. Anytime I try to build it with, like 30 board wipes and 28 counter spells and a bunch of cards that draw cards, it's like you just have games where it's like, great, I have a handful of 3 board wipes against a deck that plays no creatures. Doesn't help me. I have um, just a lot of those clunky draws, and being all in on only winning with Battle of Wits is just a bad place to be because of all the Besejus of the world and similar effects. I need any untapped green source. I think I'll get the Greeting Pool because it can cast the Mimic if we are going to end up doing that. We do have 2 more fetch lands, obviously, so we're not really worried about like what colors. We just want to set ourselves up the best we can in the long term. Maybe our opponent's debating force negationing this Rumble, which would be an intriguing play. Ooh, if only Miss Elishnorn. We'll take the good old Meddling Mage. What do we name if we take? I don't know, but we will take it. Maybe we just name Elder Deep Fiend. I don't know. Thought-Knots here. Probably. I mean, Kozilek's Command is one of the better cards they play, but we could name Force and protect the Scape Shift maybe. Then they have to like bounce the Meddling Mage or something. I don't know. Looks like they might evoke here on turn 2. If I were guessing. Might just be a Talisman though. Oh, they're holding up. Counter Magic, I assume. I'm gonna go fetch a Triome here. I think we've forced them to counter this. Whatever counter spells they have for creatures, I'd rather them use those up. Doesn't. Oh. Interesting. I think we'll take the command. I thought it was here. There's a lot of cards with thought in it. Do that. Fetch up. I'm just doing it now, even though technically I should wait because I want to just pass the turn. Is it Savai, right? Where is it? What? I play it, don't I? Oh, I can't fetch it off of my Searing Force. That's why. This gives me red, black, blue. That would give me all of them. Or red, black, green. We'll do red, black, green. Cool. I guess here it's like we've stopped the Thought-Knots here. If they play Kozilek's Command, I at least get to like draw a card. Whereas if I name Kozilek's Command and they cast Thought-Knot, like I don't get to draw a card. It is Ugin's Binding, targeting my Eldrazi token. I mean, sacking it in response wouldn't really do anything, so. Odd choice. I guess they assume we have some spell that wins the game. Maybe they're afraid of Battle of Wits. It'd be funny if they sideboarded like 4 Battle of Wits when that's like pretty little of what we do. What do they return to their hand? I guess I should pay attention to that. Was it the null structure? We'll just assume it was. So now they get to flashback or whatever. Turn all our permanents. Good for you, friendo. Good for you. play this Esper Sentinel. I need another white source. So I will go get another white source. I think I'll name Thought-Knot Seer again. Although Null Drifter is tempting. I have a lot of green. Do I just want white, blue for double blue? Go white, blue. Just know what I want. Why do I have to type things? Magic Online. You should know by now. Okay. I don't think we're necessarily in a like good spot yet, but it does feel like we're have been more ahead of the tempo this game than last game for sure. I guess I want to be careful with my life total. It does play beefy creatures. Valkut's fun. Although I want to really get one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna shock in though. If I can get this Bounding Crisis out, it's a decent clock. Also, I guess I could just mimic my Meddling Mage. Name Conflicts Command. One of their better cards, assuming they play it. I'm gonna go for Crisis on their end step. This would be our 7th land. Awkwardly, I'd still have to sack it. I guess I wouldn't. I could sack the 6 other cards, keep the Valakut. Nothing, okay. I get to draw. Feels like all I have is Force Negation. I'm gonna tap this Wall of Omens. Take that, Wall of Omens. I don't think I want to jam Scape Shift. Well, because if they have a force, it just makes them use it, but is there any better time to jam this? I guess the answer is no. 5. We could probably Birthing Ritual as well if I shock this in. I guess the better play is actually just to Glass Pool the Meddling Mage, name Force of Negation. Play out the Birthing Ritual, which give us some options, especially because I'm pretty okay sacking this wall. Play this out. We get to swing for what, 4-6 here? Bounding Crisis really ups our clock, being a 3 power creature. So we got kind of a 2-turn after this clock. That was a lot of land nonsense. There's obviously no creature we can sack here because it has to be within 1, right? Yeah. No. Fortunately, can't get that prime time. But hey, we just got to put 7 essentially lands on the bottom of the deck. not the worst. Another like Ugin's binding would definitely be a big bummer now. Although our recovery will be quicker. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could go up to 7 where we could just cast Meddling Mage on Force and then Scape Shift though. If they do something like that. So I think we'll be able to win. Scape Shift is still very, very long to resolve. They're going to get rid of the one with Thought Knot. With double blue up. Interesting. They're giving us a lot of free draws. I mean, Esper Sentinel has been doing great for us. Oh, they can cast Thought Knot because of this. Take our Scape Shift. That's a bummer. Yeah, bolt yourself to 6, please. No. I assume that means they have a Thought Knot as well. They assume we have this Scape Shift or something like it. Yep. And unfortunately, it exiles, so we can't pick it up with a Delicate Recovery. 6. We had 7 mana. I can pick up a Rumble, I guess, and play it. Welcome to the Rumble. We got fun and games. Can also cycle this, I suppose. Well, we still got some good draws, and they can't cast Force. They might have Subtlety, so we gotta watch out for that, but that's a good one. 6, so it could be 5 or 6 mana. I think 6 mana is just prime time, which would get us up to 4, 5 mountains into play. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So X is 5. Will Zealous Conscript be lethal? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Let's just try that. I don't know that they have an out to this. I'm trying to think. Yeah, they can't. I don't think they have an out to this. Where? Oh, shoot. Come on. You all knew it too. Those conscripts ain't green. Okay. Shoot. Now I have to recover this. I guess it's probably just Omnath. Maybe it's just Prime Speaker. Shoot. Bad play. That was a bad play. Voice is fine. We can. 6 is decent. I guess we just Prime Speaker. If this survives the turn, we're good. Play this out. Shoot. That was a misplay if I've seen one. Problem is Elder Deep Fiend is actually good against her because she can only activate at sorcery speed. Maybe Omnath would have been better. I kind of assume this is going to become an Elder Deep Fiend. This seems to see still 2. Could turn the Wall of Omens into a Coiling Oracle, I suppose. Yeah. I want to keep the Esper Sentinel more than okay. Got a Wall Roots. So yeah, Elder Deep Fiend here. He swings for 4. Or we can do it on our upkeep and then we're dead, right? We'll chump with the Coiling Oracle. Pretty fast win here if he doesn't interact with the prime speaker. I assume he has it. 6 cards in hand. Should have something that could do something. Is he exiling the prime speaker? Yeah. He's paying the extra for the sentinel. Okay. Well, that's fair. Omnath would have been the better choice. Or if I had just been paying attention and realized I can't green sun for zealous conscripts and made a misplay, we would have been in a better place. But I guess I could have just gotten Solitude as well. Or no, I can't. That's not green. That was the whole problem. I should have just gotten Omnath, drawn a card at least. Another thought not took the Belagad. Makes sense. Shoot. Oh, I do still have Birthing Ritual. Ewit, which is essentially Belagad. Again. I could try to get Eldritch Norn up in here. Can I Ewit plus Prismatic for 4? Let's see. Green, green, white. I can make red, red, white, black, blue. Yeah. It works, I think. Green. Might subtlety this though. In which case we just play Wall Roots in hopes it hits something good. This does draw us a card, assuming it resolves on the Thought Knot. Red, white, blue, black. Obviously could have made. Always, that made me nervous when it said X is 3. It's like, wait, no, it's supposed to be 4. It's like, well, no, X is 3, but colors is 4. Very confusing. Okay. I think we just swing out, and then we probably sack one of these things. We're getting to the point where now I don't think he can afford to swing unless he has exactly Elder Deep Fiend. Yeah. Yeah, that's our play. Let's look at the top 7. Ooh, Resto and Renegade are both great. So we can get Renegade only off of this, or the Ewit. If we get it off of Ewit, then we can get back the Coiling Oracle, or the Wall of Ormond. Probably just get or we can get Resto off of Ewit. Resto, the Bounding Crasis, untap Esper Sentinel or something. Kind of want both. What's better? Resto is bigger and a flyer and lethal, so we'll do that. Ooh, I can flicker Glass Pool. Because I don't really care about Force Negation anymore. I think just untap the whole crew here. It's a weird end of turn. Not exactly what I was planning to do, but originally, that's how that works. I think that's better than just Renegade into draw a card off of wall. If he has LRD Fiend, I'm dead either way. This makes it so now he has to deal with 2 threats that are both lethal and have flying. Yeah, he's digging for what can he cast for just 2 mana though? That can deal with 2 Resto Angels. Not sure what we're digging for here. Yeah. we got there. That was a grindy one. It is funny that we sideboarded down to one prismatic ending, and that actually ended up being very relevant in us winning that game. Just classic. I don't think that means we want to bring them back in. Don't get me wrong. I think because this can hit the tokens, it's still relevant. Sword of Feast and Fanning, Fracturing Gus, Rex Sage, Curator, Scoos. I don't think we want any of this. I think we're good as is. What an interesting game of Magic this has become. We're down on clock. Our clicking is, our deck loading is so slow every time we have to search. So there might be their chosen way of winning, unfortunately. This is the most keepable of the two hands we saw, and I don't think we want to keep mulling down. Lead on our bird. Soon it comes in tapped. That's a good one. That's a good card. It's like Meddling Mage on Force Negation, but even better, because it also stops other things. This stops them from even ramping a Kozilek's command. It has to be equal to exactly the amount of land they control, which is funny. Skyclave is a little awkward. It's one that I probably could have cut. I don't think there's necessarily something in the sideboard better than it, but like I said, Skylasher just isn't really worth it. The Line Sash and Scoos aren't really worth it, and the Keen-Eyed, I mean, maybe just because it gets bigger, but oh, why'd you do that? The good thing here is this means that Lavinia is most likely resolving. The only option they have is Subtlety, in which case we're getting rid of half their hand right here. So, as they say, la-ti-da. Here's my 2/2 2-drop that is very annoying for your deck to deal with. It's like, dang. Would it make you feel better to know it's a one-of? That was always my favorite part. Like, I beat Burn because I top-decked a Shalai, and I was playing the Devoted Druid combo in the deck. So the version I was playing back then was more combos. I had Archangel, Spike Feeder, Devoted Druid, Vizier with Dustwatch Recruiter, and obviously playing Chord and Finale as well, and then one of Shalai. I was just like, I top decked the one of Shalai. We're just gonna go all of them in. I'm not interested in shocking just a Bounding Crisis here. Opponent is casting a Subtlety the good old-fashioned way. Good thing I didn't attack first. So smart, so thin. We'll bottom that. That's fine. That's fine with me. Not in a great place. We're already, down on life, and they have a 3/3 flyer out. But we're not out of it yet. Can't cast the Skyclave. Or the Bellower, for that matter. And even though I'm hitting okay and passing the turn, I'm still somehow losing clock time. We could Skyclave now. Let's attack first, see what they do. If anything. I don't know, because if they deal with the Skyclave, they end up with a 4/4. Which is actually killing us faster than this thing. So I think I'm going to try to Crisis, and I'll fetch a white source that will probably be, Jetmir's Garden or something? I already have double green, double blue, and a white source here, so it'll be a. I guess I'll get Savai. Oh, interesting. Let's cast this now. Could wait and like do it in their upkeep to try to tap down the subtlety, but I don't. I think it's likely to get countered there. Maybe I was supposed to wait still. I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't know that I've ever lost a clock. Even back when I played like KCI and stuff. I'm a very fast clicker. It's just you see every time I search my deck it goes slow. And I have been going slower because I've been like pulling this up and trying to think. This deck is definitely not being run like the back of my hand yet. I haven't played it enough. I mean, I also changed like 10 cards before I started today. Considered taking the Valakut package out completely, but then I was like, that would take too much more testing. As is, I could build it as very much just a Bant deck with maybe just a splash for Leyline Bindings. And I don't even need to play Leyline Bindings. You know, like I could just play like Path to Exiles and put like Stony Silences and Rest in Pieces in. Rest in Peace would interact poorly with a lot of stuff I'm doing though. 5. I can't Bellower yet. Well, white. Yeah, and then I can make blue-white for Lavinia. I guess I should have started on Lavinia. I'll try to do this. This Annihilator's gonna be a bummer. Still, they have a 2-turn clock here. I don't know how I beat it because I'm not going to get to Bellower because I'll be sacking lands. Because I can sack Lavinia here. Try to Bellower this turn. It's probably my best bet. I don't know that I have a green 3-drop that can block. I got the Endurance. Endurance couldn't really even block this anyway. Coiling Oracle. Well, there's potential to double up here. Guess I actually have to do this. Oh no, I still can't make blue and green. I needed to do that differently. I wanted to do this for white or this for white. Oh well. We're just dead now. I can't cast this. Brown increases. An anticlimactic way to lose that, but interesting close match there. A lot of back and forth. So, giant deck. You get free wins versus mill. And obviously, Elder Deep Fiend was kind of an interesting matchup there. I don't know a lot of decks playing Subtlety. a.k.a. I don't know if there's any. I don't even the Blue Belcher builds aren't currently playing Subtlety, so don't think that's typically something you have to play around or Elder Deep Fiend. But I mean, we got to see the deck perform. It seems fairly consistent at making land drops, casting spells, and every game it's giving me choices as far as like I see, one of these spells. Bring to Light, Zenith, Call, Quarter Calling. I also play Eldamari's Call. I haven't actually seen that yet. The Birthing Ritual perform. That was my first time playing with that. I think it performs pretty well. Saved us from drawing 6 lands in a row, and then got creatures out, got threats out, turned okay cards into better okay cards. Definitely whiffed. Made a misplay on that Green Sun Zenith. That one game, but still won that one. The game I lost, though, I don't know that I really could have played much differently. Game 1, he just had a very good draw. Game 3 was a mix there, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you've played Battle of Wits, what your builds have looked like. You could name cards you think I should add, either as a one of or a four of, and tell me why though. Don't just say like, "Hey, you should play Corso Prefix." Like, tell me why you think that. I've probably thought it. I have a long list of cards. I have this whole spreadsheet, and I have an old deck list, and I have other cards over here that I've played. All these cards here, all these cards here. Um, I have, like I said, a list of different combos. But I say all that to say, it's very possible I've missed something that's like, you know what, this actually should be in the deck. Yeah, and like I said, I've thought about building it slightly differently. I like having Scape Shift and Bring to Light for Scape Shift to be like an instant win after I'm, 6 lands and higher. I considered maybe putting like Far Seeks in, but I think it just doesn't impact the board enough. There's obviously a lot. When you play 90 lands, there's a lot of opportunities to still get flooded when they remove your stuff. So I want stuff that impacts the board. So even like Malevolent Rumble, like leaves behind a creature, which can ramp into Prime Speaker as a turn 2 play, but also just like as a late game play can at least chump block or something. Anyways, I digress. I'm excited to finish out the league. That game went really long, so I'll be wrapping up this video now, but I hope you have a fantastic day.